Ahoy! Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another Acting on Instinct video, the series that seeks to boost your gameplay in Command & Conquer Rivals. Now this weekend is Rivals Blitz. This is a game mode similar to Rivals Champions. It's a separate queue to the main ladder, and if it's anything like Rivals Champions, you won't progress your bounties playing in Blitz, so you will need to join the main ladder queue to complete those. Fuel, however, will still be earned for playing Blitz matches. Essentially, the format for Rivals Blitz is very simple. Over the space of the weekend, you play 10 games in the Blitz queue. Every game you win earns you points, and there are rewards at set checkpoints along a tracker. These rewards do vary from league to league and increase the higher you are. Note also that the level cap in Blitz appears to be lower than the usual league caps. Now once you've completed a run of Blitz, you can attempt the run again, resetting your matches and points to 0. If you do opt to run again, you can only earn rewards that you haven't already reached on previous runs. Where Blitz differs from Champions is that in Champions, a simple pool of 3 special maps was used, whereas all 10 games of Blitz are going to be played on this one map, Rorschach. And it's this map that I wanted to discuss in this video. You're going to be playing 10 games on it, so I figured we should probably sit down and get a little bit familiar with it. I'm hoping you've already watched my video on basic map reading, as I will be using the terminology discussed there and various analysis methods that I cover. So anyway, this is Rorschach. The first thing to note here is the placement of the Tiberium fields. On this map, they are really open, and they're far away from the pads and close to your base. Double harvester decks are likely to suffer heavily on this map due to how easy it is to pressure your opponent's harvesters. That said, the distance from the pads to the Tiberium does mean that you'll need to carefully balance your harvester aggression with your foothold on the pads. With 3 connected pads, the middle one is always going to be the most important, just as it is on open water. Holding the middle pad makes it harder for your opponent to reach your back pad, and also gives you a strong foothold to make it easier for you to push onto their back pad. There's also this really awkward back corridor at the top of the map that connects between the 2 behind the missile silo. Take a note of this, we will come back to it later. Now the main battlefield down here in the south is also very open. Tanks and other micro-intensive units, especially those with radar, will do really well here if you can control them properly, as there is nothing to block their movement except for your opponent's units. So what units do I reckon will work here? What are going to be some good deck choices for you to run? Well, rush tactics seem like they're going to be an obvious strategy given how close the Tiberium fields are, but that in itself means that they're probably not going to be overly effective. The bases being so close means that scouting is going to be quick and efficient. So do try to scout before you build your own harvester, just in case your opponent is going to try a rush. If they do, punish it hard, counter rush, then go back and seize the pads. Now standard aggro decks will do really well here. The standard GDI or Nod aggro decks will serve well as they have answers for all situations. But if you're after something a bit more unique to surprise your opponent, or just something a little more unusual to have fun with, Jeffrey and I sat down and chatted about a few ideas. So what we came up with was that naturally 2 range units are going to be really strong here. Giga Cannons and MLRS will do well on the pads if you can get them there. This journey up is pretty open, and these units are fairly fragile until they get set up. If you can get them onto one of these 4 top tiles though, they're going to be difficult to shift. The Giga Cannon especially will do really well on this map due to it being so open. So opponents' units will be clustered up, allowing the Giga Cannon's beam to melt through multiple units at once. As such, the standard Giga Cannon deck, as covered in my other video, is an interesting choice for Nod players. For GDI players, this deck on screen now makes for a really intriguing option. It's very similar to the one that Ghastly ran during the Flamer Festival. Having said that Double Harvester is a bad idea, we reckon that if you can get an MG squad up to cover them both, you can push up to Juggernauts fairly quickly. This open map will allow Juggernauts to utterly dominate, and the closeness of the pads will allow their barrage to do some serious pad clearing damage. Zone Troopers are in this deck to defend your Juggernauts from incoming threats, whether these be ground vehicles or enemy aircraft. The rest of the deck is cheap enough to deal with most threats without spending much Tiberium. Just try and control the pads, even if it's just stalling them. Give yourself a chance to get those Juggernauts out, and then run from there. Now, conversely, if 2 range units like these are likely to be common, then it makes sense that units like laser drones, infernos, and orcas would also be very useful. Now, a deck like the one currently shown on screen that rushes to infernos could be a great option for this map too, as it covers all of your options and plays to the map's strengths. Inferno's 2-tile explosion can be devastating on Rorschach. So those are our basic suggestions for Rivals Blitz. What deck will you be running? What are your thoughts on the map? Let me know down in the comments below, and do be sure to come back after the event to let me know just how you got on. If you found this video helpful, do be sure to hit that like button, subscribe and slam the bell to be notified when new videos go live, and consider donating to my digital tip jar to help me keep going. Happy sailing, good luck in Blitz, and see you on the battlefield.